Okay, folks, welcome to the Contrarian Trader. This is Robert Desmond. It is Saturday, October the 1st, 2011. Folks, let's just touch upon what we're going to discuss today. Two individual, one's an ETF, one's a stock. You have the ETF that is the FXP, which is the Proshares Short China Fund. It puts you 2 times short of the FXI. For those risk-averse people, I would suggest if you want to get short of China, short the FXI. Do not trade the FXP. Just as good. If you have a high risk tolerance, then fine, trade the FXP. Now, what we did, well, the other stock we're going to touch upon today is Netflix as well. I received a lot of emails with regard to Netflix, and if you go to the homepage blog, you'll see I've been talking about Netflix and the FXP for quite some time now. As early as the 19th, I was posting text and video to the blog with regards to these two, the ETF, FXP, and the Netflix. So let's get to the charts. Let's just get going with it. What we're looking at here is a 60-minute chart of the Netflix. Now, we traded Netflix in here for a rally. And we scalped the trade. And I even put a note on about this trade on my on the blog, and we made a profit on it. But sometimes the risk to reward is not worth the profit that you're trying to make, because it was setting up for a downfall. We knew it was going to head down. So in hindsight, it was a mistake, and I published it as such. I want to be as honest as possible with people. Now, here's what I was telling my members: watch out for this head and shoulders setup. Here's your left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and I was predicting that the 130 level was going to be stiff resistance. And even one morning, I'll show you commentary I sent out to members. And here you have it. The market is, I sent this out on the morning, pre-market on the 26th. Folks, the market is getting spiked because no bad news came out of Europe, and they're still talking with regard to Greece. I take no comfort in that Netflix, NFLX, is getting spiked higher right into resistance at the 135.80 level. The next true resistance level is 145. See the attached 60-minute chart for those looking for an entry point to short. Not to get long, but to short. I have no intention of chasing stocks in this environment. Let's go back to that chart. And here you have it. It went as high as 137.88, failed, and broke down into its base, creating the right shoulder. And then you had your subsequent breakdown. We did have a price target, and I don't mind saying it now because it's already past our price target of 120. I'm going to switch to a daily chart. All right. Now you had your oversold condition. That we define our own oversold condition. We use a mixture of the candlestick action, volume action, oscillators, indicators. They all go hand in hand. Now, even though you had an RSI of below 30, and again, for those who read technical analysis for dummies, these ridiculous books, oversimplified, very vague, that says you should buy a stock once the RSI goes below 30. Look at the condition you would be in now. You cannot use any one indicator as an entry point or as a trigger for an entry point. You need to use a combination of support levels, price and volume action, candlestick action, then your indicators. Had we used this simply as our indicator, the RSI, which is currently sitting at 16.83, we'd be bankrupt right now. So please, don't use these indicators. If you want assistance with this, join the 14-day free trial offer. If you would have been a member, you would have known to scalp and then get out of this trade, stay on the sidelines, wait for Netflix to go lower. Now, we had a price target of 120, and I put out an alert to my members saying, it was an evening commentary, and if you want that commentary, I will send it to you. Just ask, email me. Robert at the Contrarian Trader. Email me, and I'll send it to you. I sent out an alert to members, commentary saying, if Netflix rallies, which it did here, and alleviates that oversold condition, I am going to end up lowering my price target because the risk to reward is not in our favor any longer. So when it hit 120, which was our price target, I didn't think twice to add to this because it just didn't fit my criteria anymore. So we have a lower price target, and it's considerably lower. So if you want to know the price target, join the 14-day free trial offer. I'll get it out to you. Next stock is going to be the FXP. FXP, again, is the Proshares Ultra Short China 25, the top 25 companies. Now, you might be saying, Bob, well, why should I join your service? You already told me what you're holding in your portfolio. Well, A, I didn't tell you everything. B, if you're not long of the FXP now, it's too late. We got long here. I put out a memo to my subscribers. The minute that we pulled the trigger on the FXP, we wanted to fill this gap here. And that would have been a good entry point. And when I saw that it was trading well below that gap, it was early in the morning, I took a risk. And remember, we don't add all at once. I was buying FXP a year ago down at these levels in the mid $25 per share level. That was my first buy. And I sat with it, and I went through all of this backing and filling here. Now we want to begin to add more on strength. So we have our channel. We filled the gap. So we never buy all at once. Although I want to add to the FXP even more so now, I didn't buy all at once here. So we added in increments, and my hope was that it would rally by the end of the day, close above the $40 per share level. If it would have done that, you know what? I might have added even a little bit more at the end of the day because you need to watch the close. It's not where the stock or ETF trades during the day that matters. It's where it closes. That is critical. And that's where many people make mistakes. You need to trade in the last hour of the day because that's what the professionals are doing. And if you think you're going to beat them, you have to think twice. These guys are smart. They have a lot of computerized computer trading systems that are out there, and they manipulate the market all day long, especially during lunch hour when there's light volume. So if you think you're going to beat them, you need to think twice. You need to be smart, know the rules of their game, and trade along with them. And that's what we do here. So if you think you're going to get long of FXP on Monday, it's highly risky, and I strongly suggest that you do not do it. Now, even if FXP opens up lower on Monday morning, it's okay because we still have a profit from down here. And we can take profits if we choose to do so. If you think you're going to add here, your risk to reward is so far against you, I can't put it into words. I can't overemphasize how risky it is to be buying on emotion, greed. So please be careful. And to members that are out there, I'm going to be going over. Oh, as a matter of fact, here's the alert I sent out to members regarding the FXP. This one went out on the 27th, and I'll read it to you. This is the alert when we bought it. This is what you would receive as a member. I mentioned FXP in the week ahead commentary. We expected this pullback and will exploit the opportunity. FXP moves 3 times. It's actually 2 times. That's a mistake. But you know what? It's better be more dire about a trade than it is about under appreciating how risky a stock can be, or an ETF in this case could be. So it actually moves 2 times, not 3 times. That's my mistake. The move in the FXI and puts you short of China. This is a very volatile ETF. So if you are risk averse, this is not for you. So another way to play this is to short the FXI. We added at 38.77. And for those who, I'm not going to go into my market forecast. I'm going to put together a market commentary with regard for members with regard to where I believe the market's going to be heading in the next, not just week, but several weeks, if not a month or so. So let's just take a look at the headlines. When I was pulling up the economic data, and I'll get to that in a moment, take a look at this. This is just bad news after bad news. Now, this is all on Yahoo Finance right now. China manufacturing gains in September, but exports weak. That's because of Europe. That's because of the United States. U.S. incomes fall for the first time in nearly 2 years. Kodak shares plunge as bankruptcy fears escalate. Folks, once you get headlines like this, the street is going to make sure that Kodak fails. They're going to go bankrupt. Lastly, Bank of America debit fee is only the latest. Now you have these thugs that we bailed out, Bank of America. They're going to be charging, if you have a debit card, $5 if you make a charge each month. Now, they're citing as the reason Dodd Frank, those two thugs, senators, thank God Dodd is out. If we could only get Barney Frank out, that thug and a half, how dare he and Dodd put their name on a piece of legislation that's supposed to cure the ills of the financial system of the United States. Those two thugs ought to be in prison right now. Instead, Dodd is tanning down in Tahiti somewhere, and you have Barney Frank with his living lovers up in Massachusetts smoking pot. So these are the people that we have previously running our country and currently running our country. So these two thugs put this bill through, and it passed. This thug Obama signed off on it. Now we're going to pay the price. I have no love for Bank of America, but I have less love for these two thugs and these liberal Democrats in Washington. They have to go. And then you had Dick Durbin, the senator from Illinois, come out when the Bank of America announced this new fee, and he said, his comment was, "Oh, the law is such a small piece that it takes out of their fees. This, how dare Bank of America?" Well, Senator Durbin, you liberal, you opened up the door to allow these banks to issue these new fees, and it was the debate back then. The banks would have to charge new fees to make up for the shortfall, because Lord knows they're not going to take a hit. It's the consumer that's going to take a hit, and that's what these liberal Democrats never seem to get, or they do get it, and they just want to make us poorer. I don't know what the truth is. All I know is that their mindset is so screwed up, it's ridiculous. Let's get to the economic data. For those who think that this country is not in serious shape, durable goods orders came in, this is on the 28th, came in 0.1% lower than what was expected. I'm sorry, came in a negative 0.1%. The market was expecting a gain of 0.1%. Now, it might not seem like that much of a miss, but when you compare it against 4.1% for July, which is a gain, this durable goods number just fell off of a cliff. Now it's negative. Crude oil inventories. You might argue that declining, rising crude inventories amounts to lowering gas prices and distillate prices. Yes, you'd be right. But the problem is that it also is a signal that there's less demand for oil. You had a drawdown the previous week of almost 7.5 million barrels of oil. Last week you had a build of close to 2 million. That's not good. You know, yes, is it good for the consumer in the long run? Less for gas prices? Yes. But it means that industrial production is probably slowing and there's less demand for oil. Initial jobless claims. This, I caught so much flack for this report. Bob, you're bearish on the market. What about initial jobless claims? Well, whenever the government comes out in a presidential election cycle, which we are in, even though the election is not until 2012, the election has begun. The posturing for the 2012 presidential election is well underway. So they need these job numbers to come in below 400,000 because it's a psychological level. Now, what they did is the market had expected 419,000. They announced 391,000, but with a caveat. They said these numbers may not be accurate. So what do you do with that? You throw the numbers out the window. This 391,000 initial jobless claims means nothing, because they came out and said, you know what, they're not accurate. And when you have the economy slowing and you have the market predicting 419,000 and getting a beat, and all the economic data is saying that the economy is weakening, well, folks, you need to step aside and say, who's lying to me here? And more than likely, it's the government. GDP just barely hanging on, 1.3%. We are in stall mode. And to members, I'll go into the numbers that are set to be released next week. Folks, if you're looking to trade this market, I strongly urge you to join the Contrarian Trader. Watch how we're trading this market. We were calling for this, and I'll show you the chart of the FXP again. We were calling for the decline in China back in here. Now look, it's breaking out strongly. We plan on adding to this. With regard to Netflix, Netflix is an absolute mess. We plan on buying Netflix. It's too late to short it. If you think you're going to short Netflix, you're nuts. We plan on buying it. So we'll be looking to get long of this fairly soon. It has not hit our price target yet. The risk to reward needs to be in our favor. And you may say, you know, about I get what you're saying, but the RSI is so oversold. Well, unfortunately, we have no idea what's going to come out of Europe on Monday. And if this market declines, the overall market declines, you have stocks that have been weak usually tend to get punished just as well. So NFLX on Monday morning may be a great opportunity to get involved with. But it hasn't reached our price target yet, and I'm concerned that we're going to see a breakdown in this market. And I'm going to go into the charts of the S&P 500, the Dow Jones Industrials, Russell 2000, and the U.S. dollar in the members' commentary, as well as the volatility index. So please, if you're interested, it's $29.95 a month. You can always cancel through PayPal. You don't have to ask me to cancel. You go on PayPal and cancel it. First 14 days are free. So think about it. If you remember, the FXP trade would have been free. You could have added here, sold here, canceled, and you'd have been none the worse for wear. Or you could still be a member and know when we plan on selling FXP or when we plan on adding to it. So again, join the Contrarian Trader. Use the link on the channel page, and I look forward to speaking to you folks. If you have a question, please shoot me an email. Have a great, great weekend. Take care and goodbye.